time in a long time, but it seems like just yesterday when we were side by side. Beast mode, no one's blocking our way. These other guys tried it, but them man ain't got the skills of Braden and Davie, brazen and raging, bringing you the thrills and spills. Right here in full gear, about to blow up like TNT. Us man are too sweet, Brady, DVP, the BDElite. Right here in full gear, about to blow up like TNT. Us man are too sweet, Brady, DVP, the BDElite.
Hello.
Braden Herrington here with Davie Portman for Up Next. And this is BDElite.
Yes, it is. This is your Thursday afternoon show where we talk all things AEW.
Yes,
Hello.
we do Up Next every Wednesday on the Up Next feed, talking about NXT. And we go live after NXT, twitch.tv/upnextpodcast. And that's where we're live right now. Thursdays.
Yes, twitch.tv/upnextpodcast. We go live every Wednesday night with NXT at 10:15 Eastern Time. And every Thursday, at the moment, it seems to be we're doing 1 p.m. on a Thursday afternoon to talk all things AEW and maybe any kind of news that came out of NXT from the night before that we didn't cover on the show. Compare, contrast, all of that.
Yeah, so every Wednesday night we'll do NXT. It'll be up on the free feed. During the day, Wednesday, Shot in the Dark is available. Tuesday nights, Deep Impact Wrestling Report you do review there Tuesday nights. And Thursdays, we'll be uploading BDElite on the free feed as well. So go look for these shows if you're on the Twitch and stuff. But come hang out Thursdays if you're got nothing to do, if you're stuck at home and want to talk wrestling. We love looking at the chat and the Twitch chat. The chat's always fire.
The chat's always fire. And yeah, this time is way better for our friends in Europe. Like this is around 6 p.m. over there. So come, if you can't hang out on a Wednesday night, come hang out on a Thursday afternoon.
I feel like we've already, like obviously we're the Brit can connection here with the Canadian and a Brit hosting this show. But I feel like ever since doing this 1 p.m. slot on Thursdays for a little while now, I've noticed some UK listeners and
some
stuff.
Different people. It's nice.
So I already see in the chat, first time, long time, looking at the chat for the first time. So yeah, thank you, people joining in here. So thank you guys. Everyone's mad at I think Jay Robbins. I see you. First time viewing the Twitch. Well, thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, so come hang out with us, Twitch and all that stuff. But the socials, of course, we always tweet when we're going live, and we randomly go live and stuff like that. And we went live for our Batman review, which is coming out for free as well tomorrow. So all the stuff, all the twitching, all the podcasts, all the wrestling. How are you doing?
I'm okay, yeah. Obviously not so long since we last talked, but had a nice walk this morning. It's beautiful out there. Still snow on the ground, but it's really nice today. And shame, didn't normally try and get a long walk in, but I had to be back for one. So
you can do one after.
I can do one after. Yeah, we've got time before the Rumble game tonight. Hope to see as many of you there as possible. 7 p.m. in the Twitch room. But yeah, I'm pretty good, feeling pretty fresh. I probably shouldn't have had that third helping of lasagna last night. At whatever time that was.
3 a.m. I think.
3 a.m. Yeah, bad idea.
Yeah, you made a veggie lasagna last night, which was litty, and we ate it during NXT, but you made like 2 mini ones, so you said, hey, do you want to save this for later? I was like, yeah, of course. And then, of course, we watch AEW after, and then, you get a little bit of the munchies, because we're hoodlums.
Hoodlums!
And we're eating lasagna at 3 in the morning, and yeah, I woke up feeling like not bad, because we didn't like go ham or anything, but I'm just like, oh.
I'm fine, just my tummy's a bit bloated.
It was
probably don't need to eat until like 10 p.m. tonight.
Yeah, usually before this show, I'm like, I'll have a little brekkie or something to tie me over. I still feel full, so I'm all right. Yeah, I'm good. But it was a great lasagna.
Thank you.
You're a lasagna master.
I'm getting good at it, yeah. It's meatless.
Yeah. It tasted like it had meat, though.
It did, yeah.
Yeah, it was good. You've done so many different lasagnas, so...
I like doing it. It's just layer shit up and experiment.
Layers.
Like you don't have to do it traditional style. Like, I like the piri chicken one I did. That was pretty good.
Okay. Yeah. No, I'm a fan. We had our landlord message us last night at like 11:30 in the evening, saying, "Hey, by the way, we're gonna have construction all day Thursday." They know that we're podcasters and we do this for a living, and we're like, well, guys,
what can we do when you tell us at like It was after we finished recording.
Yeah, it was late. It was like midnight. Yeah.
It's gone midnight. It's like, well, what do you want us to do about that now? You know we record, and there's no time between now and when we're recording this second to kind of rearrange anything. We can't, like, just, oh, well, we'll push it back later, or we'll go to someone else's place or whatever. It's like, why even bother letting us know? And
it's not so much the construction that's, like, above us or anything. It's more so the construction workers who are like, hey, Jimmy, I'm going to go take a shit. You work on that.
Oh, yeah, I just had a shit as well. Done.
Yeah, thanks. They can probably hear us.
Yeah.
Mocking them.
It's so annoying.
I know I'm of Portuguese heritage, and construction's through my veins. I don't work in construction, but a lot of my family does. And I could tell these pork chops upstairs were like, yeah, going on my break. It's like, no, please. The construction and the hammering and everything isn't the loud part. It's you guys yelling.
I mean, you've told us there's nothing you can do about that, but it seemed like the actual construction part hadn't started yet this morning, and it was just yelling. And we stay up pretty late on a Wednesday because we watch AEW.
Yeah.
And it's frustrating. I get people have to do work and stuff, but does it have to be on recording day every time?
It's like we literally tell our landlords, like, hey, just FYI, like when Thursdays is when we record stuff, and that's how we pay our bill. That's how we make our living.
Yeah.
And they love it. They ask us questions about it. They love that we're podcasters, but they still manage to book construction Thursdays.
They did ask what time we're recording and how long it will be, and I said probably 90 minutes from 1.
Okay.
And at the moment they're silent,
quiet.
So maybe they took that, and that's cool. So thank you guys.
Thank you to the construction gods of hopefully not showing up. You know they're going to show up halfway through when we're talking about hoodlums.
Yeah.
They'll be going through that. But welcome to the show. Welcome to the Twitch people. Welcome to the Patreon people. Again, the show will be going forward starting next week with Beach Break. This show will be on the Up Next free podcast feed. So go listen, go share, go tell your friends, all that stuff. AEW chat. NXT was last night. We were pretty positive on that show. We thought it was a pretty decent show. They had some good matches. Storylines moved along. There wasn't a standout, like, banger of a match, but it had some storylines that progressed with the Dusty Classic. I think the big talk of the town is Roderick Strong's Instagram account and how he has posted a photo of Finn Balor standing with Undisputed Era. So does that mean it's official?
I guess.
Unofficially official.
I don't think he's going to be in the UE, but I think we're going to have this kind of partnership relationship for a little bit.
For life, Biz Cliz, right? That's what it basically is. I think that's pretty interesting. I think that's a way to get people to want to watch, like teasing different people joining the Undisputed Era and such. And there's some other news with the NXT UK. Miko Satomura has officially signed.
Oh, awesome. Yeah. That's great. That's great for them.
So I kind of feel like it happened a while ago.
There's been talks for a long time, yeah.
Yeah, so it looks like she'll be showing up. I saw some people saying, we're recording this 1 p.m. on Thursday, but 3 p.m. our time is when UK NXT airs. I feel like she's showing up, or there's a video or something. I think she's going to be on screen for a while there.
Yeah.
Obviously, she's been helping training and stuff like that, but I feel like an on-screen character would be great for her as well. I'm not like, I don't want to say I'm mad that she's in NXT UK, but like, there's some dream matches.
I'm hoping maybe it's kind of what I'm hoping with Volta as well. Like, just go there and have some killer matches against the people you can have killer matches against.
Yeah.
And then come over.
Ginny.
You know? Ginny. Book it. Yeah.
Dream match. I want to see Miko. Sorry, is it Miko?
Mako, I think.
Satomura against Sasha Banks. I want to see that. I know Sasha has tweeted her for years being like, I want to fight you. So, like, you both work for the same company. Y'all should wrestle. That's what I'm saying. I would like to see her go up, obviously, against people like Asuka, Io Shirai, more of the NXT, not so much NXT UK roster. Look who we got going on over here, and look what they got going on over there.
Well, I know Sasha wants a match with her, apparently. Yeah. Sasha, Charlotte, like any of those 4 horsewomen, you know?
Yeah, I would be interested in seeing any of those things. So I think that's some pretty cool news coming from WWE side of the thing. Any other like news before we kind of jump into AEW? I'm trying to think of what's...
It feels like the last couple of days has been a bit... We had obviously the big Peacock news, which we talked about last night.
Yeah.
Apart from that, it feels a bit quieter on the news this week for wrestling. Or maybe I'm just not paying attention.
Yeah, they got that the royal correspondent for the Royal Rumble.
That's pretty funny. Yeah. Obviously, Jenny Bond means nothing to you, but Jenny Bond has been one of the royal correspondents in the UK. So, like, the the on-site at Buckingham Palace news reporter, that kind of thing. Will liaise with the royal family.
I watched the video. I recognize her face.
She's been around for decades.
Mm-hmm.
I think she did I'm a Celebrity once, the kind of In the Jungle show.
Yeah.
She's great. No, I think that's really funny. I think that's I imagine that's a BT Sport move, is it?
Right. The Royal Rumble.
It looks like BT Sport have actually done a really good job with WWE. Like, they seem to be all in with it.
All in.
Rather than the years and years they were on Sky, which you just get kind of a commercial for it and that would be it. Whereas BT seem to be... Their Twitter game's pretty good.
Yeah, I agree.
They're having the crossover in kind of football matches and stuff. It's always weird hearing Gary Lineker promote, like, and next up is The Fiend against a burnt Randy Orton or whatever. Man. It's very odd. But yeah, Jenny Bond, I'm a bit of a fan of Jenny Bond. I think she's hilarious.
There's this guy who is in the UK. He's a rugby announcer who's like been bored at home or something. So he started like doing commentary for his dogs in his house, and it kind of got the buzz like online. But the TV station I work at here in Toronto, or for Hamilton, CH, we do a morning show, and one of the sports guys on the morning show that I have to watch every shift does this thing like a feel good moment, and he finds like funny clips of animals and stuff online just to like wake up in the morning. Yeah, like classic morning show shit. But he always goes to the well of this like commentary guy commentating his dogs.
Right. I think I've seen the guy or stuff like it. Yeah.
So now my work has reached out to him and they got him on the show. So he came on and like started doing commentary for like the most mundane, like absurd things. But it seems like you could get commentary over anything. So you could do it I want to see a football like UK commentary guy do WWE. It would be really funny.
Who would you get? I mean, I'm a bit out.
Rooney, he's got like
John Motson. I'm a bit out of the loop with commentary in the UK now for football, but yeah, you could have some good people.
It would be funny, I think. It's just like when people dub over WWE commentary onto other things, but if you were to put it like the other way around, it would be funny. So NXT UK is all the rage because you got one signee there.
All the rage, yeah.
I'm interested in some of the stuff, and if you don't watch and you want to know, Shot in the Dark, John Cena will fill you in on all the stuff going on during the week, because they got Walter, who they've been teasing. He's leaving to come to us, so...
Maybe, yeah, seems that way. At least that's what they're teasing, for sure.
Yeah, so very interesting there. On the AEW's side, we have our show tonight that we're talking about, but then next week is Beach Break. And that seems to be like their big TV special, which is going up against some good matches on NXT. I will say that Lucha tag match next week sounds like it's going to steal everything.
I realize I really enjoy the Dusty Classic every year because your show is just packed with these awesome tag matches. So you don't have too much time for the silly kind of bullshit, really. Like last night's show, I think I liked because it was just wrestling heavy, with just a few minutes of storyline stuff, and that works for me.
I definitely like the fact that it's all tag matches, and it's moving in different ways that I think it works for a wrestling show. Anytime we've criticized NXT is when it's like, okay, well, what happened to like the wrestling show that we were like promised when this thing started, and they've drifted away, but it seems they come back to it. They come back a lot, and I was happy with what they did. I'm looking forward to next week. So we'll be watching NXT live, of course, but then doing Beach Break next Thursday like we're doing this show. But
are we dressing in our beach gear for it?
Next Thursday?
Yeah.
Sure. What do we got? Tank tops?
Tank tops, hats, sunglasses. Yeah, sunblock.
Yeah. That sounds great.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. Are we dressing up for the Rumble tonight?
Rumble tonight? Oh, yeah. We're doing our... we got to suit up, right? With the hosts.
Okay, yeah. All right. I guess I'll suit up. I wish I had a thumbtack jacket to wear.
Yeah.
Like Darby Allin.
I'm currently looking at Darby Allin trying to get a good screen grab for... I just love this segment so much.
You just want to talk about...
I can't wait to get
David
into this
just
segment.
wants to talk about this one segment, and you know I want to talk about it. So let's get into some AEW. AEW Dynamite from January 27th, 2021. We start off the show with Eddie Kingston, who's going up against Lance Archer, because you know these guys have a blood feud going on. I'm not sure the reason, but they hate each other.
It's from the Battle Royal, right? Where
time ago,
Lance Archer won to become #1 contender, and then Eddie says he was never eliminated. But yeah, this feud has been a weird one for sure.
because there's so many players, so many cooks here with the team of the family and the Butcher, the Blade, and the...
I think as well, just for me, Eddie Kingston's such a great talker. He's a great heel, but he's so good at it that I like him. And I kind of see this sort of rags to riches story with him. I really like every week when you see him. He looks like he's spent a bit of money on like a new chain, a new t-shirt, a new earring or whatever. You know, it seems like he's been a guy who probably hasn't been particularly wealthy most of his life and now has this big TNT AEW contract and finally has money and can provide for his mother Ruthie and get himself nicer swag. And I'm like, how do I boo this guy? You know, even when he's chatting shit, I'm like, you're so good at chatting shit. I can see that all your hard work has finally paid off.
It feels good to watch.
I like watching you and I'm rooting for you and I know you're the heel and I should be booing you, but also Lance Archer's been a heel like all his AEW career and now I'm supposed to be rooting for him as the babyface. It's just a weird dynamic for me watching these two. Especially
in wrestling in modern day, we're everybody loves the cool heel baby faces that are heels. Actually, it's like a weird thing that's been the past 5 years of wrestling. Easily is like we all love the bad guys. That's how I view it. I like wrestling because of bad guys, and I feel like Eddie Kingston right now definitely needs to be this good guy who eventually in a year does a dastardly turn.
Yeah, once we're tired of him, you can turn him and he'll be a great heel. But I think everyone just. I feel, and I know we don't really have crowds, but I feel people want to cheer this guy.
Definitely. I feel that way. I agree. It's like he comes out, and I know he's the best talker, but I want to see him kind of succeed because of the stories that we know about him. But he's looking fresh with the new jewelry.
Good,
Who's got a better earring, though? Eddie Kingston or Robin from Batman Forever?
I'd say Robin, but I think Tony Schiavone has them both.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Yeah, of course. He's got two. Of course Tony's got the better... He's got better earrings than any wrestler ever, and he's not even a wrestler. Yeah, God bless him. So Eddie Kingston versus Lance Archer, and JR on commentary says this isn't going to be a Queensbury Rules match. These two are going to beat the hell out of each other.
Bowling shoe ugly.
Yeah. So Eddie Kingston tries to get Lance off his feet here, climbs up to the middle rope and does a diving shoulder tackle. There's then Lance who does like this choke slam from inside the ring on Kingston over the ropes to the apron, thus dumping him out of the ring.
This was nuts. Normally when you see a spot like this, it's kind of the choke slam where you sort of let go on the way down. Whereas this, he threw him so hard.
This looked like it was unnecessary.
It looked so unnecessary, but the bump woke me up and actually brought me into the match a bit more.
It looked like it hurt.
I hope he's okay. It looked so painful. The velocity he threw him down was nuts.
Yeah, apron bumps are nasty, and this was definitely nasty. He has injuries before on his back.
I believe he's had back problems.
Oh, man. Yeah, this was ridiculous.
Wouldn't be taking this every week.
Lance now beats around him, and they're fighting around the ring, rolling around here. And he keeps beating up Eddie here. He brings him in the ring, and Lance hits a ripcord into like a uranagi for a near fall. But I forgot to mention, before this match, Lance Archer sent Jake Roberts to the back. He's like, no, I want to do this on my own.
Yeah, trying to do the sort of babyface move, I guess, of being like, no, I can take him. So we're meant to be watching this as Eddie is the heel and Lance is the babyface, I guess.
Yeah, but obviously they did this so that the Butcher and the Blade could drag out a beaten up Jake Roberts.
Oh boy.
And they're like, look what we did to him, which is distracting Lance Archer, but he fights back. He's still in this thing, and he hits his moonsault at one point there. But it's while all this is happening, the bunny, who happens to be ringside, slides in and hands Eddie some brass knucks or a loaded knuckles or whatever you want to call that. And Eddie puts them on, does a spinning back fist, knocking out Archer. The ref turns around, is a little confused at what happened, but counts the pin anyways. Lance Archer's face is bust up. Holy, that eye he's a shiner.
Yeah, you big red swollen.
He must have just hit him with it, I guess.
I guess so, or caught him earlier in the match or something.
Yeah, Eddie Kingston beats Lance Archer with the help of the fam, the Butcher and the Blade. And Archer's pissed. Jake Roberts pissed. I know they did this spot because they didn't want to beat up Jake Roberts, because he can't really take bumps. But I feel like he should just take a bump at this point. I'm sorry, but how many times does AEW do that thing where we'll drag out someone from the back, not actually beating them up?
They do it a lot.
It's their well, and I don't like it.
I quite enjoyed the match, actually. I thought, as I said, that bump actually brought me into it, and there's Lance Archer can do some crazy stuff for a big guy. I'm not completely behind his character, but he does some impressive stuff, and I thought these two had quite a nice brawl. I assume this feud is going to continue because we had kind of the dodgy ending.
Right.
It's kind of cool hearing them call them knuckle dusters as well, because that's what I'm used to calling them.
What's a knuckle duster?
It's a brass knuck. But
What?
I'm so used to them being called brass knucks in wrestling that it's kind of nice to hear them called a knuckle duster.
Knuckle duster?
Yeah.
Brass knuckles. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow, I just searched knuckle duster, and $12 on Etsy can get me some.
Let's get some.
we
Etsy,
get some?
so we'll get them sometime in November, will we?
Yeah, I didn't know that. Knuckle buster. Knuckle
Duster.
duster.
Yeah.
Well, why is it called that? Because it's not dusting knuckles. It would be knuckle buster because you're busting their faces.
Maybe
You're right though.
dusting off my knuckles.
Yeah.
I'm protecting them so I can wallop you in the
And
head.
Apparently they're legal in Canada,
Oh yeah.
but they're illegal in the UK. Is what
Up
Google
next, knuckle dusters
Yeah.
for all world champions.
Send everyone tasers and weapons in the mail. That'll go well. The Twitch chat is saying it seems to be unanimous that Eddie Kingston apron bump was pretty scary. Everyone in my chat right now is like, yeah, we weren't sure what was going on there. But okay of a match. I didn't mind it. I think the story will continue.
I actually thought it was one of the best uses of knuckle dusters, brass knucks that I've seen with the back fist, because that's his finisher anyway.
Yeah.
And just looked awesome with this back fist with the knuckle duster, whereas we're so used to just seeing the punch to finish, which isn't even their finisher.
Right, his move is that move.
His move is that fist, so I thought it was pretty cool.
The ref was like, kind of like, what happened
It's
here?
like, looks like you did something screwy, but I've got no proof, so
on to
alright,
you.
I'm gonna count this.
I'm on to you.
My bad, got distracted by butchers and blades.
We go to John Moxley cutting a promo here in his Angry Gentleman's sweatshirt. He is outside somewhere in front of a fence. He says, the Young Bucks are champs, and they're friends with Kenny Omega. The Good Brothers, they're Impact champs, and they're also friends with Kenny Omega. So it's just one big happy family, Mox says. Well, how is that going to work? Well, I'll tell you, it won't work. This is like the Young and the Restless. There's so much drama going on, and I got this match next week for Beach Break. Lucha Bros, well, it's me and one half of them, Pac and Phoenix, part of the Death Triangle, and we're going to take these guys on next week. But I'm a simple man. I like my beer cold, my coffee hot, my water room temperature, and I like to have sex in the morning, because that's how I like to start my day. He says, I trust my right hand and my left hand. I love a good six-man tag, so next week, Pac Phoenix, saddle up, compadres. We're going to have gang warfare, and it's going to be wild, so don't blink. I love a good baby face telling us his sex routine. Sex life.
John Moxley and Renee Young, we get it. You have sex. Like, every time I'm listening to them, it's... I listened to Renee's interview with him from a few weeks ago, just the other day.
Yeah.
And Mox is just going, one of the best days of my life was I defended the WWE title in MSG, and then I went and banged my hot wife in the middle of Times Square.
Oh my God.
He's talking about this balcony.
In the middle of Times Square?
Yeah, he said he had this hotel booked. He was like, he knew he was like in a title match in MSG, so wanted this nice hotel, middle of Times Square.
Okay.
And he had a balcony that pretty much just goes out, and you're right there, Times Square.
Amazing.
And they fucked on the balcony.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love a good veranda fuck.
Yeah. By the way, reading between the lines, it sounded like they did some other stuff as well, but I'm not going to get into that.
Right.
Just listen to the show.
He loves talking about his sex
It's
life.
great. Like, this guy is so different from Dean Ambrose. And apparently this is actually, apart from the sex bit, a lot of this is from a promo he used before in WWE.
A Simple Man promo, yeah.
But it just works for him here. Like, he was your Wrestler of the Year, I believe, wasn't he?
Honestly, I hate Dean Ambrose, but this guy's promos makes me want to watch him.
Me too.
Yeah.
It's just the best babyface I think we've had in wrestling for so long.
Yeah.
His promos are great. I'm rooting for this guy. You've got Thatcher and Ciampa being manly men on NXT,
Exactly.
and this is
the manliest
AEW's like response.
This is the manliest
I like
man.
beer. I like coffee. I like fucking women.
Yeah, I gravitate towards this man. I think this guy is the manliest man in wrestling right now, 100%. I know we went off on manly men last night with NXT, but definitely.
I mean, Regal's still the number one.
Well,
right?
this is a guy who clearly goes after, like he takes from,
knee,
he does everything Regal. So he learned from Regal and all those commentary times on NXT that Regal has done. He listened to those Regalisms. If you listen to What's Next. I thought this was great. It's funny. I know people will be like, okay, well, why are you talking about fucking your wife and stuff? It's like, it's funny. I don't know. Like, if you didn't know who he was married to or married and he was talking about, wrestlers do that. Like, I'm going out with these girls and stuff like all the time. So, if they're cool, if she's cool about it, then like...
I think it's cool that they're like both...
Sex
positive.
positive.
Have a very healthy relationship.
Yeah.
And sex is sex. We all have it, hopefully.
Yeah.
Like...
Well, some of us.
Some of us.
Yeah.
Sometimes a bit less than others during these uncertain times, but yeah, fuck it. It's wrestling. We have sex.
Yeah, I can't be mad at this guy. I see people being mad because they're jealous that he's having sex.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, and I like my beer cold and my coffee hot, so I understand as we're having hot coffee. Yeah, we're having hot coffee right now. We go from one promo that was great to another promo that's just show stealing. We go to Sting.
Oh boy. And
Darby Allin. They're in some building somewhere. We go from Moxley in front of a fence to Sting and Darby in front of. Well, they're in some sort of building, but it's like a beaten up building, like broken windows.
Darby's house.
It's Darby's. Yeah, it looks a little sketchy. It looks like some houses I've seen in New Jersey or something. Oshawa. There's just Darby and Sting talking, and Sting and his dad. He's like, "Hey, we're gonna be in this street fight against Team Taz. Yeah, Team Taz, Taz and Ricky and Brian. We're on first name basis now because we're in your business, you're in ours. But you say we're hoodlums, and my feelings are hurt," says Sting. "You called us hoodlums. Well, you know, Darby's a hoodlum. Darby is a hoodlum, and we're hoodlums." And Darby goes, "In the streets," and I lost this little kid with face paint, the turtle kid, going, "Yeah, in these streets." I'm like, dude, I bet you've had street stories. I'm not debating. You probably lived in your car more than I don't even own a car, but like, I get it. You have, but I don't know. He goes, "In these streets, it doesn't matter if you play clean or dirty. It's all about survival. I am a hoodlum. At least we're honest. We're no different from you." And Darby takes his skateboard and he throws it through one of these windows and just shatters the window and goes flying. There goes his skateboard. And Sting is like, "Huh, well, Darby's a hoodlum and I'm a hoodlum too." So he takes out his bat and he starts busting up these other windows, just smashing all these...
He's only got one of these things, so he keeps hold of it.
Yeah, he's just throwing this bat through these windows, smashing it up, and says, "I am a hoodlum. It's showtime," as they walk off.
This was great. It was so funny. I don't know what they were going for, but I was thoroughly entertained. It was so weird. Do you think Darby goes home after this and goes, "Mom, I need a new skateboard"? Darby, what happened? Threw it through a window. Just keep hold of it. Just had to smash it. Had to smash the window. I'm a hoodlum, Mum.
No, Darby went around and picked it up. Let's be
These things are weird. I love that Sting is... Because we said, okay, apart from both sitting in the rafters and both like face paint, these two aren't the same. They're very different in their styles, in their promos, in everything. And I love that Sting has maybe taken that criticism and being like, all right, it's late in the game, but I'm going to be like Darby Allin.
Fuck, it's so
weird.
weird.
See him jump off a bridge. We're going to see him go in a body bag.
It's so weird.
It's great.
It's so cringe that I love it.
Yeah, it's weird. There was that Fire and Flavor Fest on Impact this week, which was just terrible.
Yeah.
The humor was wrong. They were like stumbling over each other's lines. It was just a wreck. Like, it wasn't funny. It was designed to be bad and was even worse, I think. This, like, I think they're playing it seriously, but there does seem to be a kind of, in Sting's eye, like this twinkle of irony with him doing it.
Yeah.
I think he's just like, fuck it, let's just have fun. And both these promos weren't weren't bad. Sting's a little better than Darby's, but I kind of liked it. But it was so funny. We couldn't stop laughing watching this thing.
That's what I mean. Like, if it did it's like we just did a review for Batman Forever, and I said I'll be talking about it of how it's such a fucking ridiculous movie. It's so stupid, but it's just visually fun. It's so ridiculous that I love it. Like, that's how I feel about it. It's not a good movie, but it's great. It's so stupid. That's how I felt about this promo. The way the lighting with the dark lighting, it's so WWE what this was. But them breaking the windows and I do want to watch this match.
What I do like about it though is it's not very WWE to be doing promos in different settings like
true.
this, and that's what I think we have with.
They used to do that a lot.
They used to do it a lot, and they haven't really for a long time. You might have the best they have is a dark room or that studio with the ring in.
Yeah.
If they're like not backstage or in the ring, and I think it looks good on this very show. We had Darby and Sting in this warehouse thing. You had Mox in, like, assume his garden or some park or something. You had Pac in his goblin house. I think it looks cool, and it breaks the show up well and gives a certain more sinister, harsh edge to some of these characters.
Yeah, definitely. I like different settings and stuff, and I enjoyed this. I was all off on Sting before he showed up here being like, I want to see Sting in AEW. Well, I fucking have it now, and this is exactly what I expected to see from... He wasn't doing shit in WWE, so why not help out some kids, give Darby a... It instantly makes me want to watch this tag match. It could be a cine match, it could be like the Stadium Stampede. Who knows what this match
I could almost see them coming here to this warehouse thing.
Okay.
You know,
so
like start fighting. I think it will be a literal street fight. I think it'll be literally in a street.
Yeah.
It's going to have cinematic elements to it. I see it maybe kind of like sort of like the Edge Orton Ciampa Gargano, where it does have a kind of wrestling feel to it, but then maybe do some more cinematic elements.
Right.
They're going to try and hide Sting's like age and weaknesses as best as they can. But I'm optimistic. It has my attention.
Definitely. It's a draw. They've done the right thing of making me want to watch this match, as ridiculous as it's going to be.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And hoodlums. Love me some hoodlums.
I'm a hoodlum.
Yeah, a person who engages in crime and violence.
Yeah.
A hoodlum.
That's me.
Yeah. Yeah. Undertaker loves hoodlums.
Yeah.
We go to MJF and Chris Jericho, and they have a tag team match against the Varsity Blondes, Flying Brian Jr. and Griff Garrison. Edge.
Yes. Young Adam Copeland there.
MJF grabs a mic before this match and says, whoa, Sammy Guevara, look, we need to talk after this match right away, because the whole week has gone by, but they haven't talked, and he needs to talk and clear some air with Sammy. And Griff, is that you, Goldilocks? Wow, last time I saw you, I embarrassed you, so why don't we just get this over with? Why don't you just quit? And Griff is like, ha ha ha, and nails MJF. And this match starts. I
love little attentions to detail like that. They had MJF in a squash match over Griff Garrison months and months ago, where he was like humiliating him and stuff. Another company wouldn't remember that, and this would be a fresh match. Why not call back on your past? I like that. It was the same with Mox's promo when he was going on about, okay, so the Bucks are feuding with these guys, but then we got Penta and of going through. It feels very Game of Thrones-esque. Like, all these characters are aligning themselves with each other and then fighting with each other, because ultimately they want the throne. They want the AEW title, the tag title, or whatever. And I like that all these characters aren't in bubbles. They all interact with each other. They all have their different gripes. And just a simple comment here like, oh yeah, I remember I just whooped your ass a few months ago and humiliated you. Are you sure you want to go again? You go, right, they did face before.
Yeah.
I think it doesn't insult my intelligence, and it makes it feel like more of a sport. Like, think you have with
you have hockey. They'll mention like, hey, last season these two teams fought and this team won. So,
exactly. Or like the first time the Jays played, was it it was Texas, wasn't it? The bat flip.
Yeah. Like
the first time like Bautista's like up against them again, and it's like, oh, these guys hate this guy because he did the bat flip last time, and it's insulting, and you have it in sport, so why not have it in wrestling?
I agree.
I dig it.
I agree. WWE seems to always like be on like some sort of island where they pretend things never happen.
Anything that's over 3 months ago is never happened.
Yeah, it's really strange. So they're gonna have this tag match, Jericho and MJF, with their new theme crossover mix.
It's horrible. It doesn't slot together well.
It's funny.
It's weird because some points it syncs together and it actually sounds kind of cool, and then it goes way off with the timing and everything. Crowd are confused how to sing to it.
They're always no Evilise.
No Evilise.
Yeah. What do you think of the Jericho, the Judas thing? It's weird with no crowd now. It's just workers now.
It's weird when I'm just seeing like the cast of Dark singing it.
It's not fair because if there was a crowd, it's going to be a thing till this dude retires.
For sure, yeah.
Like it will be. But it's just weird because there's no crowd, like there's no quote unquote real crowd. There is some people scattered.
This is a taped one, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like okay, like I see people not liking it, but at the same time, it's like, well, if you like. You could not do it, but I don't know. It doesn't make me mad or anything.
No, I'm kind of fine. It's his entrance now at this point. It will feel weird when it's silent with it. It's just maybe don't cut to the cast of like wrestlers singing it because this Jericho is a heel, right? If it's a baby face and all your guys are singing it, it was different when like you saw MJF singing it because he's a heel, but seeing like Kylan King and Chuck and Austin just singing along, you're like,
Jericho should do some like dastardly heel thing in the future, and then when he comes out one week, like all these people just turn their backs, like they don't want to sing. They're like, you're a dick. Like, no, we don't want to do this. That's what needs to happen eventually. So this match starts off. Griff Garrison's trying to beat down on MJF, who eventually tags in Jericho, who's in with Pillman Jr. here. And I like seeing Pillman Jr. and Jericho because obviously the history, I think JR, we always go off on him for just randomly throwing things out there that doesn't really fit the match, like calling Griff Garrison Edge for 10 minutes when it doesn't have anything to do with it. But here he's like, hey, Jericho trained in the dungeon in Canada, and so did Pillman's dad. So it's like there's some history here between the families and stuff. So Jericho's in there with Flying Brian Jr., who hits a neck breaker on Jericho for a near fall. Jericho tags in with MJF, and they start to beat down on Pillman, but he hits a flying cross body to Jericho. He eventually makes a hot tag to Griff Garrison. He's on fire. He's hitting stinger splashes on Jericho, MJF, and then a double one on both of them, and then a double spear to both guys. And then Jericho gets like dumped out of the ring here. It looks like he took a nasty bump, but he was okay. And then it's Jericho in the ring, and there's a flying attempt here. In midair, Jericho swings his elbow for the Judas effect, knocking him out clean. And if that wasn't enough, Jericho executes a picture-perfect lion salt, getting the win while the camera's on him, just smiling. This huge, pearly white, grinning smile to the camera as he wins the match here. It wasn't needed.
It was great, and this lion salt actually looked... sometimes a lion salt just looks pretty, you know, but doesn't necessarily look like it hurts. This was done like full force.
Yeah.
I loved, he smiles and then just scowls after. Like, the smile goes away, and then he's like, fuck you, haters, isn't he?
Yeah.
And as everyone's celebrating, like, all the inner circle, like, jumping around, patting each other on the back, he's just there looking mean, like, fuck, like...
and then he's on camera, you can hear him, he goes, put it in, put the middle fingers in, and they all put the fingers in, like, fuck you.
I was surprised he didn't do it twice.
He said he was.
On Twitter, someone was like, watch Jericho after being, like, everyone slagging him off for missing that lion salt. Watch him hit a picture perfect one next week, and he's like, I'll hit it twice. So I thought he was gonna kind of add insult to injury and hit it again, but he might have been like, that one was pretty good.
It was.
Really enjoyed this match. I'm really liking the Varsity Blondes. Don't think they're in a position to be kind of challenging for anything yet, but I see, like we have in the singles division, we've got your group, your crop of like Sammy, Darby, Jungle Boy, MJF, of this young talent who in 5 years' time you can see being the headliners and the main people of this company. I could see Varsity Blondes being that in 5 years' time. Yeah. Being a top act. I love their matching gear. I love their kind of throwback style, but with
Steiner Brothers look, I guess.
Yeah, like the matching, like, was it blue and pink, I think? The hair looks great. There's definitely this 80s, early 90s vibe to them, but sprinkled in with this like touch of the modern.
I agree.
I think they're really cool, and I think they're going to go far, but completely right result. That springboard into the Judas effect. Jericho's getting way better at that Judas effect now and hitting it out of nowhere. I kind of dug this.
I will say it, and we've gone off about politics and stuff on this show, and people with their personal values and all that stuff. I still say, you know, I can separate people from the art and stuff like that. When Jericho wants to flip it on, he can still go and stuff. Just because the guy supported a guy you don't like doesn't mean he's instantly a shit wrestler. I'm sorry, it doesn't work like that. Because I see Twitter like, oh, let's be honest, Jericho's never really that good. And it's like, okay, well, that's just bullshit. Sorry,
he's been relevant for decades.
He's literally like amazing, and like he still manages to do that. And everyone gave him shit with that line salt, like, yeah, pack it up, kid. And I'm like, no, he's just gonna show up this week and do it again, and he did it here. He's great, and I think I've been saying he kind of needs to take a back seat. I kind of don't. It makes sense that he's with MJF, but I feel like he should more so. It's this pandemic era. You don't need to be doing this right now.
I feel it's because it's this pandemic era that he's on so much. I get the feeling, had this not have happened, he'd probably be taking a bit of time off and doing a bit of a tour with Judas, maybe.
Right.
I kind of felt after because he lost the title in February, was it?
I guess.
To Mox.
Yeah.
So that's when you'd normally rest someone, but this pandemic pretty much hit right away, and I can see a Jericho being like, oh, I need to be here. The fact he's been on commentary, the early days of the pandemic where you didn't have the people in ringside, remember, he'd go into that dressing room and be like, come on, let's get going.
Right.
So I feel it's a Jericho decision, kind of, I need to be here. But I'm with you. I think it's time to take a back seat. I think the Inner Circle could maybe flourish without him for a bit. It's kind of like we saw with being the Elite, the Dark Order starting to get a bit more personality individually. I think there's enough characters in the Inner Circle that you don't need Jericho. But I think as long as we're in this era, you're going to see him. Because
I imagine when you have a crowd, he's a draw. People would want to go watch, right? So, yeah. We go to Pac. He's in his house. The Goblin King, as you call him. The bastard. He's in full gear, even in his fucking house. Yeah. He's watching TV with Kenny Omega, and he says, you're acting like Big Billy Big Bollocks. Big balls. You're walking around with that manager, that clown, and you're hanging around Impact. You're manipulating people. You're just a pack of dirty mongrels. And next week, Beach Break, bring your good brothers. We'll see what happens. So he's calling out Kenny here. He wants the title.
It looked really cold wherever Pac was.
Jennifer Aniston
this
nipples.
Is high. It looked like some kind of church. It was
I thought you were talking about his nipples.
No, I'm just saying, like, it looked very airy. High ceilings and all that. This guy, I quite like his promos. He's like this weird magical troll that lives under a bridge, you know? Like the AEW troll who can fuck you up. I kind of like it. I like that he's always in his gear. It kind of makes him stand out to me.
Does he just not own clothes?
I guess. And then, but it's one of the things in WWE, I always thought when I'd see him in like Up, Down, Down or one of the drive-alongs or whatever it is, he always looked like less cool.
Yeah,
when he was in his regular clothes.
He used to always wear polos and glasses.
He'd wear a polo shirt and glasses, and
like...
it would just look kind of uncool. Whereas I think here he just looks menacing. I love the old school TV he's watching these videos on. I think they're pretty cool.
He's got no clothes. He's got a TV from the 90s. What's going on?
He's just living how most of us have lived our quarantine. Just walking around in your underwear in your house. You're not giving a shit and watching TV. That's all he's doing.
Calling people Billy Big Bollocks.
Yeah,
exactly. Bless him. We go to Shaq. We go from Pac to Shaq. He talked some shit on SportsCenter or something earlier in the night, like it wasn't planned or anything. And he goes, hey, Cody, you want some of the Shaq attack? You little punk with your blonde hair. You look like a little girl. How about we fight in March? That's the promo.
This felt like when we've been getting people to do promos for this Up Next Rumble.
Our promos were better.
It felt like just going, hey, can you just talk some trash for a sec? Oh, yeah, so Cody, facing you in March, you suck.
With your blonde hair.
That was pretty much it, right?
Yeah. I've heard people cut promos for our Royal Rumble game tonight better than this.
Okay, this is kind of the barometer on how a feud is. What is the story here? In a couple of sentences, Braden. Tell me, I'm new to wrestling. Why are Cody and Shaq in a feud?
Fuck. Because I don't know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
What is this feud? It stemmed off what?
Yeah, I don't know.
Like a
So
tweet. It feels so forced. It feels Shaq. They got Shaq to agree to this, but they're not attempting to do any story with it or whatever.
Yeah.
You normally see these angles being like, we've been watching the old Rumbles, like LT, Lawrence Taylor, front row, laughing at Bam Bam for losing, and Bam Bam gets in his face. You normally have something like this. But this feud has been, Shaq just saying, oh yeah, Cody sucks, or something like that.
Yeah, it's weird. It doesn't make sense.
There's no story, and it's so disappointing.
I always love gauging wrestling, how it's making rounds throughout the world of like non-wrestling fans. And like I always get messages from friends who'll be like, oh, what's the deal with so-and-so? They're in WWE? Like, whoa, Ronda Rousey's in WWE? That's weird. Or like, whoa, what's going on with that? I got a message, whoa, is Shaq wrestling? What's his deal? Why is that happening? And I'm like, yeah, you're right. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know why he's fighting.
And
It doesn't make sense.
I think there's something that I could be intrigued by a Cody Shaq feud. They're just, all they've done is they've basically just put up the graphic and been like, this is happening.
This is a match.
That's all they're kind of doing
I'm
with the
sorry,
storytelling.
but it's not even a singles match.
No,
it's a shit match, and it's a pay-per-view match. You want my money for this match? Sorry, no. Not.
I mean, we're going to be paying.
We will.
And we're going to be watching it.
We will. But it's like, that's fucked. That's so shit. His promo was like, yeah, you have blonde hair. You look like a little girl. What?
Yeah.
What are you talking about? You should have went like Cody.
It felt like it was in the bulk of a show. Well, I think it is.
Yeah,
and it was like, guys, I just got to get this.
Yeah, I got to get it over.
Looks to the hard cam and like delivers it. And
but
like,
no.
Anyway, let's go back to what about this?
No emotion though. He's reading it like how he reads his icy hot. He's like, Cody, I'm gonna bring the heat, and you're gonna need icy hot.
Oh, he's way more enthusiastic about the Papa John's commercials, isn't he?
Doesn't even show up on the show.
It's bad.
Fuck yeah! If this was WWE, we'd be ripping it. Like people would be like, "This is so shit. Fuck this." And yeah, it's not good. But it continues because out comes Tony Schiavone, who's like, "Hey, here comes Cody Rhodes," who comes out to the Snoop Dogg thing. That's another thing. Are you with Snoop Dogg? You're feuding with Shaq. What's going on here, Cody? What are you doing? You know we called Jericho a tag team slut. Cody's definitely like a pop culture slut here. You're just going after anything he can like grab, essentially. They ask Cody if he wants to respond, and he says, "Look, I'll just tell it how it is. I'll give you the pitch. We were supposed to do me and Brandy versus Shaq and Jade, but life got in the way. We're having a baby, and we can't have this match anymore." And then they start to chant "Baby Daddy," and he goes, "Only in AEW would you get a Baby Daddy chant." He says, "But let me defer to the coach, Double A, Arn Anderson, Tony Soprano." He grabs the mic, and Arn says, "Yeah, I chewed your ass out, Cody, because I'm going to earn my money tonight. The fact of the matter is, you're about to be a dad. That is on the forefront." And years ago, June 29th, 1985, does that have meaning to you, Cody? Because I saw your dad fight in the LA Forum, crawling in the ring with Tully for a 30-minute match, and then right after that, jumped on a private plane, crossed the country to get there in time to see the birth of his baby boy, Cody Rhodes. And Cody's just like crying.
But Cody was unaware that this was his birthday?
Cody's like, whoa.
Arn's like, this date, does it mean anything to you? Well, it should. You were born
that
day,
that's
Cody.
your birthday. Yeah, that's your birthday. He goes, "And if you choose to fight March 7th at Revolution, well, it'll be a revolutionary show because I know the window of your due date is far from, but like still, you never know what could happen in a match." It's like, what? Okay. All right. He says, "Eyes wide open, no regrets. You got a lot of time. And it's a once-in-a-lifetime shot. Shaquille O'Neal had 19 years dominating his sport. So it's time." And out comes Red Velvet. Yeah. She has a mic, and she says, "I'm out here tonight because I'm fed up. I'm tired of being attacked. I'm tired of seeing Brandy get attacked and disrespected by that big-mouth coward Jade. Everyone knows Cody wouldn't lay a hand on Jade, but I will. I'm Red Velvet, and I'm about to stir your bitch ass up." And Cody's like, whoa!
Woo! Oh, I was cheering.
Yeah.
This was great, I thought. Cody is very strange to me. I'm a big fan, but every time I watch him, I'm just scratching my head, because I find he came off quite insincere at the beginning here, and whenever he uses a long word, I'm like, why are you using these words, Cody? You know, it just feels a bit like wanky a lot of the time. And then Arn stepped in, and Arn was fantastic. Why was this guy not used?
Why wasn't he used on WWE?
This guy could have been a general manager of SmackDown for 6 months or something. Someone's manager. He's such a good talker, and the tie-in with Dusty and that, and getting Cody looking genuinely emotional by this, it worked. And I actually think what actually makes me interested in this feud, as much as I don't like the story, is I really hope this can elevate someone like a Red Velvet. Because what I've seen of Red Velvet's in-ring work, she's pretty good. Her promo here I thought was great.
Her looks great.
This is the first time we've really seen her cut a promo. She looks fantastic. This girl could be a star. And if you're going into a match which is to see the spectacle of Cody and Shaq, and you come out it's still gonna perk people's interest. I think by the time the match comes around, you're gonna be like, all right, I kind of want to see what this looks like. But if you come out of it going, well, Red Velvet's really good, and it elevates her and then can put her in that main event mix of women, I think they've achieved. And I thought they achieved with this step with Red Velvet here.
I really liked Arn Anderson cutting a promo. I'm pretty sure I've said this before, where Cody could read a phone book and make it sound like it's the most important thing going on. And I feel like Arn is maybe that's where Cody kind of picked it up, where Arn just says like a bunch of random shit, like, oh, remember Dusty and has nothing to do, your baby's not due for months. It doesn't really make sense. It doesn't. But the way he said it was like, oh yeah, you're really good at talking. And that's the first thought I went to my mind, is like, Arn, you've been backstage for how many years? No wonder you left or whatever. Because you're still amazing. You could sell me anything. But beyond that, I did not like this. I think my interest in this Shaq thing has now dropped now. I think it's a complete joke. I think if this was in WWE, we'd be ripping it.
Oh, it's bad. It's bad.
So bad. Think of WWE with their angles pushing celebrities. They've booked better celebrity angles than this. In WWE, they would have just had Big Show and Shaq beat up on each other, and then that sets up the match. That's all you need to do, is Shaq come out with Jade and go, Cody, sorry, you helped me get my girl a job. You're at your expense. And then, like, I don't know, she beats up Cody or something. That's what, because Red Velvet's like, oh, you wouldn't lay a hand on Jade because she slapped him, right? We should have had the next week or tonight, Jade beat up Cody.
Yeah.
And then you go, whoa, this intergender wrestling thing, is this going to happen? And then Red Velvet goes, no, I'm taking Randy's spot.
Fuck you up.
I thought this was so shit to me. I loved Arn talking, but I could not stand this. It makes me go, please don't do any of this.
I think
it's
the
a pay-per-view.
story's bad, but I am, like, Red Velvet made me interested.
Sure.
So I'm more interested in seeing Red Velvet and Jade Cargill, see what they're capable of, than I am the other two.
Yeah.
But yeah, this has been messy.
So stupid. It makes me
get on talking more. I also believe that he's a coach. You know, the way he was talking, I was like, yeah, you won the match, but I reamed out Cody backstage last week because
you took Peter Avalon.
Fucking Peter Avalon lightly. Come on, Cody.
It's so shit, honestly. Like, Cody, if you're having a kid stuff, go away and just have Jade fight. I don't care, honestly. I don't. I would have been so interested in a Shaq one-on-one match. I think that would have had my attention easily, and I could tell all my friends, yo, Shaq's in a match. I'm not telling any friends he's in some mixed tag with two wrestlers I don't even know.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's really shit. Honestly, I don't understand. It's a pay-per-view as well. You have to pay to see Shaq fight, guys. So we go to our next segment, and we're cordially invited to the wedding next week.
I can't wait. Like, let's just get it. We've been booking this wedding for months. Let's just get it over with. Let's have Miro kill everyone and just move on.
I loved Miro's fit here in the Versace. He looked fresh, and he's like, hey, next week's gonna be great, the wedding.
I think they've really missed an opportunity to do some fun stuff with Chuck E. T.
I feel like they realize it's not funny, so
maybe because you normally have vignettes and that kind of thing when you do this.
He's just
kind of
standing,
and it's over next week. It's until the wedding, and he's just standing there in a suit.
Yeah, we'll see. Maybe Trent shows up with the injury, or to stop I don't know. Someone interjects. I think we were saying, what's his name? The opera singer guy. What's his name?
Pavarotti.
No. Bocelli.
Bocelli.
No,
Andrea
what's
Bocelli?
the guy, Miro's buddy from WWE?
Oh,
Drama King.
Aiden English.
Aiden English, yeah.
Okay.
He's showing up, I think, next week.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. We go to Hangman Adam Page versus Nick Nemeth. Now, a lot of you are like, who? The younger brother of Dolph Ziggler. And if you didn't know that, after watching
You'll know it within 2 seconds.
Yeah, you'll know, because he looks like him, and he's doing just Ziggler moves.
Dressed like him. Like, he looks like 2013 Ziggler, right?
I said on NXT on Up Next last night when we had that Kurt Stallion Lone Star promo, I'm like, yeah, it's
creepy one.
It's Walmart Hangman on NXT.
Yeah.
Well, it's Walmart Ziggler here with his younger brother. I wanted to check this out because we've been watching old NXT with Hot Young Briley, which is Nick Nemeth, and it's interesting that he's in 2021 wrestling on TV.
Yeah.
But he's going up against Hangman, so we all kind of figured out what was going to happen here. Hangman hits his Pascata crossbody to the outside. He's in control, but Nemeth comes back with a drop kick. Matt Hardy comes ringside, and he's watching the match, and he's cheering on Hangman here. Very interesting. Nemeth hits his Ziggler neckbreaker, and when I mean Ziggler, he's even doing the hip thrusts like Dolph
He's doing
does.
the hip thrusts, he's doing the headstand,
He's doing
headlock,
the hair
he's
thing.
doing the DDT.
Yeah, he's literally doing all of Ziggler's moves. Hangman hits a series of different clothesline variations. You mentioned the Ziggler DDT type move. Then a rolling elbow from Hangman where he just has enough of this guy's Ziggler shit and just nails him with this. And then the buckshot just taking his head off, and Hangman wins this match. But it's after the match that Matt Hardy goes into the ring and says, Hangman, I've been watching you, and it seems like you're lost. I was with you at the Stadium Stampede, and you had love for the Elite. But they burned you. They left you behind. And you didn't deserve that. You didn't deserve that at all. Then they asked you to join the Dark Order, and you said no. And it seems just like you're conflicted. But, Paige, I've seen where you've been dressing. You've been dressing in the hallway adjacent to catering. I have a huge dressing room. So you can come dress there anytime. Not creepy at all. You can come hang out in my dressing room, no strings attached.
This is a thing though. We've had, when I've done shows before,
Yeah.
I've had people move into other people's dressing rooms. You're all assigned who
Right.
you're changing with and stuff.
Yeah.
And then people don't get along and go, I've got space in my dressing room. Or people have taken over the shower, just being like, this shower's mine. So this happens. People are like, hey, I know you're kind of on your own a bit and your dressing room sucks. Come hang with us. We have fun.
I know we've been giving Matt Hardy shit lately, but this is the best he's sounded in so long.
Yeah.
'Cause everything sounded legit, the story.
He's coming into this character a bit more, and I've got no problem with him doing this with the occasional match, occasional pairing with Private Party if needed.
Yeah.
But the focus is now he's in this agent role.
He's Robert Stone.
Should be, who occasionally takes a bump, rather than I'm seeing you on Dynamite every week wrestling.
Yeah.
I'm much happier with this.
At first I groaned, and then I let him speak, and I was like, okay, what you said makes sense storyline-wise, so I'm not going to shit on it. It makes sense.
Do you see this being a thing where then you get Taz trying to recruit Hangman?
Everyone's trying to get
maybe Vicky Guerrero at one point, Jake Roberts. I see it being over the course of a few months.
Yeah.
Everyone's trying to get him, and he's doing this, no, I'm on my own, which eventually all things lead back to the Elite.
Of course,
Yeah.
right? Endgame is Hangman and Kenny eventually.
But I'm okay with that. I think it's a cool story. It's a cool focus for Hangman. And just Hangman's acting here as he's taking all this in. He kind of looks like...
He's thinking about it.
He's thinking, and he's like, yeah, my life's been kind of shitty recently. So I hear what you're saying. I don't know. I'll think about it. I thought Adam Page played this really well.
He needs his own Arn. He needs his own guy. He doesn't need a Matt Hardy or the Elite or a Dark Order. He needs his one. He needs Stan Hansen, Terry Funk to come out.
Yeah.
Be his voice of reason here.
Hansen would be
You're a cowboy, mate. You need to get into this. You got this. You got this. I seen your clotheslines and they're fucking lit. You got this, boy. That's what I want.
Hansen's still alive.
Just one
He's
time.
71, but
Hansen,
we can have him.
Hansen, show up. I want it.
let's do it.
I want it. So up next is FTR Jurassic Express, a video package for their match right now, which means it's Jungle Boy Jack Perry going up against Dax Harwood.
Oh, yeah.
In a singles match here. And the stipulation is that everyone else is handcuffed to each other. So Luchasaurus, Tully Blanchard, and Cash Wheeler are all handcuffed to each other, sitting ringside. The opening shot of this match, when the referees and officials are handcuffing everyone, is one of the weirdest stills in wrestling I've seen in a long time. Imagine someone was flipping channels last night, and they flipped to TNT or TSN or whatever they're watching, and that's what they see. They see a dinosaur being handcuffed to an old man and some other dude in skinny jeans, all sitting ringside. The image there, you go.
Gotta love wrestling.
You go, what the fuck
Gotta
is
love
this?
wrestling.
What is going on? Why is there a dinosaur handcuffed to these people? But I digress. I will say this every fucking week I see it. Tarzan Boy is the greatest theme of wrestling history. Done. Thread, no discussions.
It works. It really works for them. It's such a great...
The crowd here chants it, like Jericho's Judas thing. But imagine this in a crowd of actual people.
For sure.
Oh, boy.
And it's so, I mean, they were doing it during the match, but it's such an easy thing to chant during the match as well, whereas Judas isn't.
Yeah.
So I think this is such a good move.
Oh, his theme just gets me into this so much. So Dax versus Jungle Boy here. Great back and forth early on. And Harwood gets sent shoulder first into the post. They go to picture in picture, and it's Dax now working on Jack. But when we come back, there's back suplexes, and Dax is beating him up. But Jack comes back with a forearm, rocking him. And then there's more high angle like suplexes and stuff. There's then... Jack, who's like, what, you want to punch me? And then he like slaps him, and there's uppercuts. Jungle Boy is just firing off here. There's then this crazy exchange that lasts for so long where they're countering everything from each other, which ends up finally Jungle Boy hitting a super kick and lariats. Dax goes for a tiger driver, but that's countered into a Rana for a two count. There's then this like crazy rope assist power bomb. And I know we always joke that, you know, if you bounce them off the ropes, it hurts more instantly. If you do a flip, it hurts more. But here, it actually looked like it did that.
It sped it up,
Holy.
right? Like in I guess your body, like, just jerking around like that. Think of being on a roller coaster going up and down. You feel weird, and then you're slammed after.
So Dax power bombs Jungle Boy onto the rope, giving the bounce more like speed, and then just sit out power bombs him, which is crazy. Bangs him against the mat here, but Jungle Boy kicks out. There's then like a full Nelson attempt, but Jungle Boy counters with a backstabber, and then a German suplex, and another German suplex, and then there's this like crazy DDT for like a 2.9 count here.
This near fall was so good.
This is where Dax does the fake out.
What I liked about this is we know FTR's style is the more old school style, and the podcast with JR the other week where he was going off about high spots and was talking about a DDT used to be a finish.
Yeah.
And FTR kind of, I think it was actually Dax, defended JR as well.
Right.
So to do a classic DDT for a 2.9
was
actually
close.
a really good move, because I'm conditioned at this point to see a DDT as a transition move.
Right.
But seeing Dax Harwood do it, you go, oh, Dax Harwood would finish a match
at
with
this
a
point in the
DDT.
match too. They were like
Completely
going back and forth.
I thought it was great.
Yeah, 2.9
But
for
then
sure.
JR did sound salty after.
I bit on this. I thought it was over.
I thought this was a really good near fall.
Jack comes back with crossbody, and then there's like roll-ups after roll-ups. There's so many counters and pinning attempts here, backslides, everything. But it ends up Jungle Boy locking in his snare trap, which is like a modified STO leg trapping thing. But he transitions that to like an STO, but almost like the Regal stretch or Gargano escape kind of thing with the legs locked in there too. And Tully and the dinosaur and Cash are all trying to get
Tully
involved.
and Cash are like, oh, I just want to interfere. I want to interfere, but I can't.
We're handcuffed. Oh, and Dax Harwood taps out. Jungle Boy Jack Perry getting the big win here on Dynamite on TV. I loved this match. I thought this was the highlight of all wrestling last night.
You know, we see so many like cage matches to keep people out, which everyone always ends up getting in. Shark cage matches where the guy ends up being able to drop something down from the cage or whatever. I actually loved this stipulation here. As ridiculous as it looked, I liked that there was no interference.
Yeah.
And we just had a solid match.
Yeah.
And the gimmick actually worked. And just a really entertaining wrestling match here. I think Jungle Boy is going to be a huge star. I think Dax Harwood looked great in this singles match. We know we love them as a tag team, but just looked great in this singles match. I thought they worked together really well. I'm kind of looking forward to seeing more of this feud and these guys going at it. Did you know Dax is the Axe?
Yeah, they kept saying that, and he's got Axe on his tights now too.
It's this nickname that seems like it started today.
Okay.
And for like good 5 minutes.
Yeah.
JR and Excalibur are going like, what drives a man to call himself an axe? And they're going off on this. It's like, it's because it rhymes. That's why it's his nickname. Axe rhymes with Dax.
Dax the Axe.
We don't need to overthink this, guys. He's an axe.
Jungle Boy on Twitter last night said, "That was the biggest win of my career and a match I'll never forget. Dax, you are a son of a bitch, but thank you for bringing that out of me." So yeah, I think
I loved it.
Yeah.
One of my favorite matches of the night over both shows.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this, and I know we've said we're fans of Jungle Boy. I like Jurassic Express and everything, but Jungle Boy, to me, once he gets over this, like, people seem to think he's got some sort of like shyness on camera when he's talking, or when he's in the ring. It's like it goes away.
His promo isn't particularly exciting.
Right.
There's not much like pizzazz to it.
Is it like his dad, who's always like, hey?
But he also just, I think, his age and his look, he's still likable, and he seems like a real person, even though he's this Tarzan whatever.
Yeah.
His promo does need work, but it's not offensive to me at this point.
Right.
When he starts moving up and is in more serious feuds, it's something he's going to need to be better at. But for at the moment, I think it's fine.
It's weird because he's got this like Jungle Boy gimmick and the hair and everything and the gear, but to me he wrestles almost like a old school meets new school thing. Like you get the classic roll. Maybe it's because he was fighting Dax, but like classic old school roll ups and like near falls that it reminds me of old school matches that still captivate me. If I still put on Macho Man versus Steamboat from WrestleMania 3, it gives me.
He's got a 1-2-3 kid.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, definitely. I think he's great. And every time we've watched him for the past few years, we've been like, hey, like remember that MJF match? We were like, hey, that was really good. That like pay-per-view.
Oh yeah, they've had a couple of nice ones. Yeah.
Honestly, I think he's a star, and I say it all the time. And he's got the best theme in all of wrestling. But after the match, the handcuffs come off, and Tully grabs some baby powder, or talcum powder, throws it into the dinosaur's face. Then they beat up Jungle Boy. They hit a slingshot brain buster on Jungle Boy, and then the mind buster, like pile driver, triple team move here, knocking him out. And then they handcuff Luchasaurus to the ring, like the ropes, hanging him up here. And they grab scissors. And they cut, not his mask off, but they cut the horns of his mask off. The dinosaur horns. It's like Hellboy when they cut off his horns. They cut us off his horns, and they go now to Jungle Boy. And they grab his hair, and they're about to cut it off. And that's when the AEW roster show up. They're like, no!
This beatdown's been going on forever, but Jungle Boy's hair is over in the back.
No, you can't!
This is so funny. They're like, Marco running out with a chair. Christopher Daniels is so mad that they're gonna cut off Jungle Boy's hair here. He's like, guys, I don't have hair. I know what it's like. You can't take that away from this kid. This was so funny, but it was great.
How are we gonna
Not the hair!
How are you gonna do hair versus hair if he doesn't have any hair? Shave the beard?
Hair versus... Yeah, I don't know. It's
weird.
Like Cash Wheeler's hair.
I'll see where it goes, but yeah, very interesting.
But yeah, I guess that's what we're going to. Maybe some kind of hair stip. You know what? It's a shame Luchasaurus's horns weren't bigger before.
Yeah.
Because it would be kind of cool over the weeks if he has like
Little
different
ones,
size horns, like they're growing back in.
He's got to get a new mask now.
Yeah, he does.
He's got to get like a new one with bigger horns that he's gonna like stab people with.
Oh yeah.
Do like head movements or something.
Fuck yeah.
Wrestling's weird. Got a Jungle Boy coming out to Baltimore, and then we got fucking Dinosaur, and then these Don Cherry looking.
I love wrestling.
Wrestling's wild. Just saying. Can we just say wrestling's great? Team Taz in a video backstage. They're talking to the camera outside, and they say that we're hooligans, huh? We're on a first name basis. Well, we're hooligans too. Then they see this like merch guy with some T-shirts. I don't know who they're selling merch to, but they're there. And they say, hey, you! And they start to beat up this guy, and it's classic WCW, NWO, Rey Mysterio vibes here.
Oh, yeah.
Where they lawn dart these guys, like, through the place.
They do the Rey spot where they just launch him into the truck.
Yeah, and I recognize someone here, and I have to give a little shout out here. I know that it was kind of common knowledge that a lot of the Ring of Honor, like, people who worked behind the scenes for Ring of Honor, migrated to AEW in like the change. Ever since they lent their people for All In, it seemed they were like, huh, this could be good. And there's a guy I recognized right away, and his name is Sean Carr, and he goes by the name of Bird. And he looks like Dave Grohl. I always called him the ROH ring crew guy that looked like Dave Grohl. And he was on camera here, and I think he was one of the guys who got thrown into the truck and thrown over, beat up by Team Taz here. But Bird worked for Ring of Honor, and I've been going to Ring of Honor shows for so long. I worked with Live Audio Wrestling, and John Pollock and stuff would always give me tickets and stuff, and I'd always go to Ring of Honor. And sometimes I'd go with my friend who was in a wheelchair. friend Shane. And this guy Bird, for years, I'm talking like good solid 10 years, this guy would always be working these Ring of Honor shows in Toronto, and he'd always like come up to us, talk to us, sometimes give us stuff. He'd give us first dibs on anywhere to sit. He's just like genuinely like the nicest guy. Like, no one needs to go out of their way to be that nice to people who are going to wrestling events, and he always was. And I always said to his face, like, you look like Dave Grohl. It's great. You could be his like fill-in. And I'm happy to see him on TV. I'm happy to see him like making some money and stuff like that. So I thought I had to say that, because this guy has been doing that for Ring of Honor for so long, and now he's doing it for AEW. So shout out Bird there from AEW, getting his ass kicked by Team Taz here. And they say that they're gonna beat Sting and Darby's ass in this fight, in the street fight. Like, look, you're hooligans. We're beating up people like NWO here. Hopefully, no one called the cops from that spot.
I'd love one day just a cop is there and being like, guys, that's assault. Like,
Taz beats up the cop.
Come into the station. Like, no.
Because that's the thing, right? When Nash threw Rey Mysterio into that truck, people called the cops because they were like, "What the fuck's going on out here? It's gang warfare." So Team Taz,
it works for them. I think I like this, and you're building up to a street fight. You want to see people take it to the streets. Yeah,
definitely. So it's going to be some sort of cinematch street fight. We go to our next match: Britt Baker 1-on-1 against Shanna in her Dragon Ball Z gear. Shanna, we've seen kind of before, maybe more so on Dark and stuff, going up against Britt Baker here. She kind of shows up Britt here with some technical wrestling, and Britt kind of gets mad. Reba keeps trying to distract and getting on the outside, and Britt Baker on the outside hits a sling blade here, and then is stretching Shanna like against the post, while Rebel, not Reba, comes in and starts like using makeup on and blush on Shanna's face. What a heel. And the ref doesn't care. No. Guys, this ref is just like counting, and it's like, no, this other person's touching the person in the match. You should be kicking her out. Kayfabe. Keep kayfabe alive, and it wasn't here. As much as, I love Rebel, but come on. What a heel, applying makeup to someone. They're caking her up, and the ref is just like, yeah, that's fine. Britt does some weird transition here, but eventually hits the twist and shout. She gets the glove from Rebel, but Shanna comes back, beating her up. She hits a jumping stunner. And then I mentioned Shanna's wearing Dragon Ball Z gear, and if that's not enough to tell you that's her gimmick, she does the pose for the Spirit Bomb. She's ready, Kamehameha, but it doesn't work, and it's Britt Baker locking in the lockjaw, and Excalibur says, yeah, she's working on the vertebral nerve or something. Okay,
I'm glad you got that, because I'm Googling, because I was like, dude, just
call it the move.
She's shoving her hand in her mouth, and it hurts, But was it the vertebral nerve? I think he said, because I can't find anything on Google about this thing. Yeah, there's something called the vestibular nerve, which is in the ear. But I don't know. The nerves of the mouth. There's the trigeminal nerve. There's the mandibular nerve. I can't find anything called whatever Excalibur said.
He's making things
up. I think he's just trying to piss off JR.
That's what it sounds like.
I think so.
So Britt Baker wins this match as Shanna taps out here. After the match, they beat her up more, hit the curb stomp, but it's Thunder Rosa who comes out for the save, scaring off Rebel and Britt Baker for their match next week, 1-on-1.
Good to see the women get a bit of time. Still feel like we should maybe have 2 segments for women on this show. Not a bad match. I really feel it's coming up to the time where we should just put the title on Britt Baker. Mm-hmm. I think she's good enough in the ring that can have some good matches, but it's the character you need to be driving this, and I think that's why they haven't done so much with Rio and Hikaru Shida, because they're maybe not quite sure what to do with them promo wise and storyline wise. So I think it's time to put Britt as champion, and I'm kind of looking forward to this Thunder Rosa match. I think they've built this up quite well.
I know that the women's division here is getting a lot of flack and stuff, but I think it should be moving in the right direction, considering we've got Britt Baker, we have Thunder Rosa. I think those are the 2 strong ones. Serena Deeb is there. I know Statlander's coming back, and I feel like it'll be a stacked division if they get this into this flow, but they still haven't gotten into it. They're doing this tournament now that they've announced next week is Riho coming back for a match, or not next week. Sorry, it's in the near future. They said
coming soon. At a date to be confirmed. So kind of thing.
Hopefully we see some more good women's wrestling here, because I like Britt Baker, but I think I'm over it already.
that's why I feel it needs the title.
Yeah.
Right? It needs to move to that next level because she's been this version of Britt Baker for a while now.
Yeah.
So I feel it needs to get that extra wrinkle by just putting the title on her, have some baby faces chasing her for it. Because it hasn't worked for a while with Hikaru Shida now.
Well, they're going to be doing that tournament with Americans and the Japanese. So
yeah.
I'm cool.
So imagine we're getting Emi Sakura back.
Aladdin pants.
Rio in it. Probably, yeah. Yuka Sakazaki.
So interested in that. We go to MJF and Sammy Guevara. Sammy's mad at MJF. They're trying to talk, but he's like, look, man, I know. You're a manipulator. You have everyone fooled, but it's not going to work with me. So hats off to you. You're a master manipulator. One of the best. I see what you're up to. And MJF says, Sammy, if you want to play it this way, we'll play it this way. I'm not playing, as MJF walks off, says Sammy.
I think Sammy's getting better on the mic as well. Getting a lot more confident. MJF's great as always. Still really digging this feud. I can't wait for Sammy to finally trust MJF to only get his heart ripped out and squeezed to death.
Yeah,
you know,
it's a story you want to watch.
It's going to be great. I'm really loving these two.
I love Sammy's feud with Dijak on Twitter.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, yeah, I don't really care what you're saying because you wear that fucking stupid mask. But here's my vlog. I know Sammy's had his trouble with things he's said and stuff, but that was in the past, and I think going forward he's a star in wrestling.
100%.
I know you love Sammy Guevara.
I love Sammy Guevara. I think he's great.
We don't say it enough on this show, but you go crazy when Sammy Guevara's on TV. You ask me every week, is Sammy Guevara on the show?
Sammy Guevara on the show?
Yeah, and he was.
We love him.
Yeah,
we love it.
I love him on BTE.
Oh yeah.
He does this McGregor thing, and he's always in sweatpants, and he's just he just looks like a little shit.
Yeah.
And I think it's a good character. But
absolutely,
here he's trying to be the good guy of the group. But you're right, he's eventually gonna ease up to MJF only to get fucking turned on. It's like when you're in a maybe a friends with benefits situation, and you keep saying no, I don't have feelings for you. I don't have feelings for you. And then she goes, I have feelings for you. Psych! Just kidding. We're not together. I'm going back with my ex. It's oh, what you bitch! I trusted you. That's what's happening. Next week is Beach Break. We have a tag team battle royal, and they've announced that the winner gets a shot at the pay-per-view against the Bucks. But get this, you want to hear some WCW shit? The Bucks are now added to this tag team match, and if they win, they get to pick their opponents.
I don't mind it so much. I mean, it's like the G1, right? You can enter the G1 as the champ, and if you win, you pick your opponent.
I mean, when I think of tag team battle royals in AEW, I think of the G1.
But, I mean, that's what I'm saying is the stipulation.
Yeah.
I assume the Bucks are actually going to win this thing.
Yeah.
And maybe tease that they're going to pick the Good Brothers to go against and not pick them.
Right.
I'm still holding out that it could be Sabin and Storm to win this.
Sabin and who?
James Storm. Because they're, with Alex Shelley out, they're the tag team at the moment. And they've talked about going for tag team titles and stuff.
Can't wait for that hot team of Sabin and Storm.
Look, I don't... Obviously, it's not ideal. You'd prefer to have Alex Shelley there, but I'd be more into that. I think it's time to have Impact have some presence on AEW to kind of shoot back.
Right.
You've got Private Party who are challenging for the Impact titles. I think it kind of makes sense storyline-wise to have an Impact team challenge for the AEW titles.
For anyone, if that's what they go with, and that's the pay-per-view match, to anyone who's ordering this pay-per-view, sorry about your damn luck.
Who's fresh for the Bucks, though?
Not that team. Anyone other than that. The Good Brothers.
I disagree. I'd prefer... Good Brothers, you'll get there. I think...
maybe it was...
them face everyone in AEW.
To be fair, maybe it was supposed to be the Guns.
I think so. And
right?
That's why I think they're trying to build on Impact this team of Storm and Sabin.
Where's Shelley?
Instead.
Why is Shelley just...
It's vague.
Okay.
Yeah, so he said not COVID related, but we know he kind of works in hospitals and things, I believe.
Yeah, okay.
I'm not entirely sure. But it feels, from watching Impact on AEW, it feels like the story has been maybe going towards a Bucks Machine Guns match at some point, and I think they're going to just go with this new team instead.
I'll be honest. The Bucks versus Machine Guns is all these years later is a pay-per-view match that would kill it. They would kill that would slay. But a Sabin and Storm match, I wouldn't watch that for free.
You wouldn't watch it for free?
No, don't care. Sorry. James
You're
Storm.
ridiculous.
James Storm? Dude. that's like.
I mean, you're gonna watch it for free because we do a show on AEW.
It's
so like,
it's so ridiculous. It's like I love AEW, but to try to defend this Impact thing where it's like that's your big guns. It's like, sorry, that's not good.
Yeah,
it's not good enough. Like in 2021, I can go watch any other wrestling. And as a wrestling fan, yeah, I know we do a podcast, but as a wrestling fan, it's like that's the best you can come up with. Really? This guy who's like been flip-flopping around doesn't look like he's in the best like, sorry, no, it doesn't. I love Chris Sabin. He's one of my I loved watching him. I loved Alex Shelley. I love the Machine Guns. Sorry, James Storm isn't it. They need to move in a different direction. But you're probably right. That's probably where they're going.
I think that's why it would be a battle royal and
very strange. Maybe
but
private
we
party.
could have the Good Brothers match. It could be that.
Yeah.
But I do see it maybe being something impacty. It makes sense for the story.
This whole show seems impacty. We have the wedding next week. Of course, that 6-man match as the main event. Britt Baker, Thunder Rosa, all next week. I'd say next week is pretty stacked.
The spring break.
Yeah.
Beach break, whatever it is.
After this little package, we have a Bullet Club party. It's the Good Brothers and the Young Bucks here. Doc Gallows and Carl Anderson are absolutely ridiculous. They're like, Biz Cliz me softly, brother. They're doing their thrusts and the titles are swanging. They say next week they're gonna beat up Phoenix, beat up Pac, and their favorite thing, beat up John Moxley. Love it.
Just getting all the old lines in there.
Great. They say, hey, young Bizzle brothers, young Bucks, we can't wait to team up with you guys again. It's gonna be great. And they say, yeah, as long as that stooge, that Mark, Uncle Creepy Don doesn't show up. The Donaconda, says that Gallows. And Kenny shows up here. And he's like, hey, guys, I don't want any animosity. I'm just here. And they're kind of like, they're not really trusting Kenny. You haven't been answering our calls. And Don shows up with, like, taped up eye. And they're like, you're full of crap. We didn't do that to you. But Kenny doesn't want to hear any of it. And, like...
Yeah, Kenny's mad at the Bucks.
Yeah, so he walks off. But that leads us to our main event, the 8-man tag. It's the Bullet Club... for life, the Good Brothers and the Young Bucks going up against the Dark Order. So pretty stacked thing here. Highlight of the show was listening to Tarzan Boy. Second highlight of the show, Devil in Your Six.
It's a good theme.
They own it, right?
I assume so.
It was used
we've been having AEW themes on Impact as well.
But like I'm pretty sure the Good Brothers own the theme because they used it
was in Talking Shop
before
and
Impact and stuff.
Yeah.
So I think they own it, which is great for when they leave Impact and work with AEW. They'll still be allowed to use it. Yeah. Underrated. It's so shit that it's good.
I like it.
Yeah,
it's
the
good.
Devil in Your Six. It does fit them. They come out with swinging their titles like dicks. It's funny because they're pretending it's their dicks, but it's titles. So funny. Yeah. It's great. I hate Doc Gallows in the ring, but I genuinely find him funny.
He's funny.
Yeah.
I think their gimmick works about how, and that's kind of why it sort of works in being an Impact, because it's just their gimmick is they don't give a shit.
Yeah.
They just want to
make money,
get paid, make as much money as possible,
and talk shit,
and it works for them.
Bullet Club starting off here, and it's Carl Anderson, I think, in the ring, but John Silver tags in almost instantly and goes, No. I want him. He points at Gallows. So Gallows laughs. He tags in. And now the standoff between Lil John Silver and Big Doc Gallows. And Gallows is like goading him in like, oh, let's do a tie-up. Actually, you can't reach like up here. And Silver just levels him here. And Gallows tells him to suck it. And he's like, suck my dick. Silver's then fights him off here. And the commentary are like, why are the Bucks associating themselves with this scum? That's how I feel. I'm like, what's going on here? These Bucks, what are you doing? So gray area here. Shut up, Mark, says Doc Gallows as he's beating him up here. Silver eventually tags in Stu Grayson, who comes in cleaning, wrecking shit here. There's Uranagis and all this stuff. For some reason, commentary bring up Speedball Mike Bailey. So shout out Speedball. I know he was watching and he's tweeted out like, hey, thanks for the shout out.
We're going to be talking about him next month.
Are we?
Yeah.
For PWG.
PWG.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I'm interested in seeing Speedball. I think he would fit in AEW pretty well. Or NXT, to be honest.
Oh, yeah?
I don't know if he'll be in AEW. I kind of see him going to WWE, but I know his lady friend Veda has been tied with AEW, so maybe there's something to be said there.
Maybe this is them kind of shooting their shot a little bit.
Maybe.
He can travel now. Can he?
I think so, yeah.
Or just about to be up, is it, or something like that?
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool.
I one time big timed Speedball Mike Bailey.
Oh yeah.
It was in Japan in a subway station, and I saw former pro wrestler Joey Ryan, and I was like, "Hey, you're." This is years ago. I said, "Hey, you're Joey Ryan." Like, great. And didn't realize it was Speedball. So then, like, later, I was tweeting, like, oh, it was cool running into wrestlers in Japanese subway, in Tokyo subway. And he's like, yeah, you big-timed Mike Speedball Bailey. You totally... And Speedball tweeted back, like, yeah, it's okay, bro. It's okay. I was like, oh, I'm sorry. Like, I like you more than the other guy, actually. I didn't recognize you. You were just, like, hidden in your hat and stuff. I'm sorry. Sorry. Love you, Speedball. I've watched him wrestle. Smash regular here. So Speedball is brought up, but that doesn't mean, because Grayson also a regular. I think that's why they're from the same area of maybe Quebec. But Grayson's hitting like fireman face busters, all sorts of crazy things on Nick Jackson here. Silver tags in again, and he hits his hot tag. He's like Lil Cesaro Jr. here, flying everywhere. There's cannonballs, there's brain busters. Silver is nuts. All of the Dark Order are just hitting all these crazy double teams that lead into more double teams, which lead into their super finisher Fatality, but it's broken up at a 2.9 here. Nick Jackson comes in with the Nick Jackson hot tag, flying corkscrews everywhere onto everyone. The Bullet Club then set up for apron power bombs, like 3 of them at the same time, which leave Evil Uno, I think, someone in the ring, Stu Grayson, and they do the quadruple super kick, but Uno breaks it up, but he's hit with the Magic Killer. Eventually, the Bucks hit the Meltzer Driver. The Young Bucks pick up the win. The Bullet Club beat the Dark Order.
I found this really enjoyable. The John Silver hot tag is just nuts. It's so much fun to watch. As you said, it's like
a cannonball.
It's like a mini Cesaro or
Puck.
Daniel Bryan when he was feuding with the Shield used to do these crazy hot tags. Really enjoyable. I thought interesting seeing the Bucks and the Good Brothers team. It's still, I feel this is just always the Young Bucks story, just murky kind of where they stand. A bit of flip-flopping around, but kind of makes sense. They were playing sort of semi-reluctant partners here, but also, oh yeah, we were boys, so we'll do the too sweet and that kind of thing. I thought this was an enjoyable match. I thought most of the show, the actual matches were pretty enjoyable. It was similar to NXT in a way.
Yeah.
Not particularly newsworthy, but also just bell-to-bell entertaining matches.
I feel like I could watch this match again. I feel like there's more to be had from these guys. It was very interesting watching the Bucks and Good Brothers team. We've seen them fight before. I've seen them fight as teams in 4-man matches and multiple man matches like so many times. I've been to so many Ring of Honor shows where I've seen this group, especially with the Dark Order, but the main two, which is the Smash Bros, Stu Grayson and Evil Uno. I think the Bucks just love fighting them. So
yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
and I think the Dark Order have really come into their own now.
Definitely,
like, both of these teams are fantastic, and I could see both at some point being champions.
All right, these Dark Order win the Battle Royal.
Yeah, which one though?
Yeah, true. And then they
Smash Bros.
Then they do the Freebird rule in the Dark Order.
Over the two teams. Sure, why not?
Not just
sometimes you have Preston Vance in there, like. Alan Angels.
Anna J. -1.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be great.
Just all 10 of them.
After the match, Matt Jackson grabs a mic and says, hey, next week's this tag battle royal, and we've added ourselves into this match, which means if we win, we can handpick our opponents who we want to wrestle at the pay-per-view. And then they turn and look at the Good Brothers and say, it could be anybody. So think about that. Too sweet. But out comes Ray Phoenix like a cannonball himself here, trying to fight everyone, but the numbers game are adding up. All the Good Brothers, they're beating him up, but it allows Jon Moxley to show up. He attacks because Kenny Omega ran out at one point. Moxley attacks Omega, hits him with the paradigm shift, and Kenny sells it like he's been killed here. He's like upside down at one point, just laid out here. Mox takes him out, takes out Gallows, and then Phoenix like hitting crazy like suicide dives and stuff at the same time here. But it's Moxley standing tall over the Bullet Club as they kind of retreat here and take their L, even though they won their match. But Moxley letting it be known he's not quite over this title loss quite yet. He's still mad, which I think needed to happen. So I like this.
I like this ending. Yeah, it just hypes it up for the big 6-man next week. Just frantic. Moxley standing tall, which he needed to. He's finally got his hands back on Kenny. Thought it was a good kind of simple but effective end to the show.
Yeah, it makes me want to watch that match next week. I'm super stoked, and as much as I don't like, I keep saying I don't like Doc Gallows in ring, but I used to watch like Carl Anderson when he was like wrestling in New Japan and stuff. And I'm like, you were pretty good. I want to see more of that kind of come out. But I'm interested in next week. I overall enjoy.
I don't mind Gallows in a tag, to be honest.
Sure.
He just comes in, hits a few big moves, and then tags out. You know, it's just the size alone. He's a big dude. Can make for some fun, like the bit with John Silver. I thought that was pretty fun. But I'm with you. He's not the greatest worker in the world.
Overall, though, I liked this episode.
I liked it. As I said, I kind of found it a bit similar to NXT. Just good wrestling, which I like. I'm never going to complain about good wrestling on a wrestling show, but not the most buzzworthy show in the world.
Yeah, it had some ups and it had some downs. My highlight was the Jungle Boy Dax match. I really enjoyed that. I just like wrestling on my show, and they definitely highlighted wrestling in that match, especially with the no interference. That needs to be a thing more often in wrestling.
It's great.
To be honest. Just
what a gimmick.
Yeah, clean finishes.
I want to see that more. Just cuff people to a dinosaur.
They should.
For every match.
In NXT, they put people in shark cages.
And that never works. And you just need a dinosaur.
You just need a dinosaur. Dinosaurs, shark cages, handcuffs. But my low point was some of the like banter with the Shaq thing, and you could say the Sting thing, but I kind of liked it. I don't know. Overall, maybe not 2 thumbs up, but a thumbs up for this show. Which show did you like more, NXT or AEW? That's tough, because NXT I liked.
They were both pretty
They're in the middle.
I might just put AEW slightly ahead.
Okay.
Because I really liked that Harwood Jungle
Me
Boy
too.
match.
Yeah.
And I thought the main event was really fun as well. But I thought both pretty solid episodes.
Yeah, I think I agree. I liked that Jungle Boy match.
Maybe inch ahead for AEW.
Yeah, just because it had the match of the night over both shows. I agree. I enjoyed that a bit more. But NXT was still killing, and they're killing it with the Dusty Classic that's going forward. And so is AEW with some of the stuff they're doing. So maybe not so much that pay-per-view. As the more I look at this pay-per-view, I'm like, can we fix this up?
It's still a few weeks away, isn't it? So they'll add some cool
The
shit
first ever Sunday pay-per-view.
Yes.
March 7th, Sunday.
It's a Sunday.
Yeah, so...
we'll be doing a watch-along and a post-show for that, as always.
Yeah, look forward to that street fight with Sting return to the ring.
It definitely feels a weird show, because with the Sting match and the Shaq match, they're two very, like, how is this match going to look kind of things.
Yeah.
But I feel we'll have Moxley Omega probably added to that. Whatever the Bucks match is, I'm sure will be good.
It will be.
And then what will you have? Maybe Britt Baker, Shida by then.
Hopefully.
Yeah. I think it'll be fine.
Yeah, I'm interested in seeing where this goes, but good night of wrestling overall. It kind of felt like a weird week in wrestling. It's like, where are we right now?
Yeah, looking at the Twitch room right now, they seem pretty split. Some people preferred NXT, other people preferred AEW. I think very level this week for me.
So that was Dynamite. We'll be back next week with Beach Break. For the first time, this show will be on the free feed. But again, come hang out Thursdays at 1 p.m. seems to be the time we're recording this and going live on the Twitch. Wednesday nights, it's for NXT. Thursdays, we do AEW Dynamite. So Tuesday nights, Impact. Wednesdays, NXT. Thursdays, AEW Dynamite. We're watching so much wrestling.
So much.
We have so many podcasts. You're going to be sick of us. You're going to be sick of us. So join us for that, as well as the Royal Rumble is this weekend. So watch along and come hang out. We got some pools going on.
Oh, yeah.
Money's on the line. We got all of the stuff going on. So come hang out. It's Rumble season, baby.
One final plug. Tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. I am saying this on Thursday, January 28th. It is the Up Next Rumble. We are finally there. We're finally going to stop annoying you by talking about this on every fucking show we do. It's the Up Next Rumble. We can't wait to see all of you there. Twitch.tv/Up Next Podcast if you want to watch. If you're in the game, obviously I'll be giving you that Zoom link later.
Yeah.
It's going to be trivia. Wrestling trivia. One winner. Very exciting stuff.
Yeah, the Rumble game's going to be wild tonight. So if you can't join us live on Twitch, well, you can find the podcast on here on the Patreon and all that stuff. So thank you for listening and supporting us. The February schedule is coming out very soon, because February's next month by the time you're listening to this or whatever. But we have some ideas. We have some best matches ever. You mentioned the PWG one we're doing. That it's going to be fucking crazy. Who's joining us for that one?
We've got Martin Bushby looking at the best of PWG. As we mentioned, we'll be talking about Speedball Mike Bailey on that show, and
Yeah.
so many classic PWG matches. Tentatively, I'll announce it. Hopefully, we'll be looking at the best of the Never Openweight Championship as well in an episode of Best Match Ever. And we're going to get through a lot of your Up Yours picks. So, whole lot of movies and weirdness and randomness, as always, on the Up Next Patreon.
Yeah, next month is February, and last Valentine's Day we did a Best Match Ever Bret Hart, because I was like, hey, whatever. But I was thinking, what else can we do for like love relations here for Valentine's Day? So I was like, should we do a top five moments of love?
Yeah, basically we're going to do top 5 where Braden and I are going to rate our relationships from 1 to 5. We're going to go deep.
That sounds
We're
great.
going to go more personal than we've ever gone before.
That sounds great. I have no shame. You know me as a friend. I have no shame. I would do that.
Maybe that can be behind the BD. But no, we're going to be looking at the best moments of love in wrestling. Best weddings.
Sex celebrations.
Oh, yeah. All of that next month.
Yeah, so we're thinking of doing that. I tried to convince you to do like a rom-com or like a really sad lovey-dovey.
Yeah.
You wanted to do The Notebook.
It's not the time.
I know. I was like, hey, you want to do Eternal Spot? What is it?
No, you said, do you want to do Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind? I was like, that's one of the saddest fucking movies ever.
The Notebook.
Yeah.
500 Days of Summer.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Closer. Maybe not the time. But thank you for listening and supporting us. We have all those shows coming out, and we appreciate you. Thank you for listening. Take care. Goodbye. See you at the Rumble. And remember, we are some hoodlums.
I'm a hoodlum too.
Fucking hoodlums.
Ahoy!
First time in a long time, but it seems like just yesterday when we were side by side. Beast mode, no one's blocking our way. These other guys tried it, but them man ain't got the skills of Braden and Davie, brazen and raging, bringing you the thrills and spills. Right here in full gear, about to blow up like TNT. Us man are too sweet, Brady DVP, the BDElite. Right here in full gear, about to blow up like TNT. Us man are too sweet, Brady DVP, the BDElite.